Greetings, Lumen Scholars. It is week 14. This is your Monday video. We're going to start with some language arts activities. We're going to be reviewing the spelling words that we focused on last week. I'm going to give you 2 weeks on each of these homophones because I'm noticing that your test scores aren't the greatest. I think we're needing more practice on these spelling pairs. And so we'll take 2 weeks and then take a test if that works for you. So these are the words that you were familiar with last week. We're going to play kind of a game with them. So I need you to get out a scrap piece of paper and a pencil, pause the video until you're ready, and then we'll get going. Okay, you're back. So I'm going to put up 2 pairs of words, 2 of these homophones. And you need to choose which one would be the correct one in this situation. And I'm getting excited and ready to wrap my Christmas presents. In that sentence, students, how would I spell the word wrap? Would it be this way? Or would it be this way? Okay. Based on your guess, I need you to write down, if you think it's this way, please write down the R that I have a square around. If you think the correct way is this way, write down a letter P. Okay, that's for number 1. Okay, everybody clear on that? Okay, next one, number 2. I love going to see the Capitol building all decked out with Christmas lights, okay? It's just so beautiful at this time of year. Our Capitol building with an incredible dome that's all lit up, and they do lights all over the grounds, okay? How would you spell Capitol as it refers to the Capitol building itself? And I gave you a clue with that dome, okay? If you think it's this way, C-A-P-I-T-A-L, please write down the A for number 2. If you think it's this way, C-A-P-I-T-O-L, please write down the I for number 2. Okay. I'm so excited to go to the Capitol building. Okay, that was your sentence. Number 3. I love Christmas stories at this time of year, and everyone probably knows the story of the little shepherd boy. That's one of my favorites, who wonders what he can give to the baby Jesus, okay? And he offers him a lamb. So everyone knows the story of the little shepherd boy. Okay, how would you spell that version of knows? If it looks like that, please write down an N. If you think it looks like that, write down an S. Okay, everybody knows the story of the little shepherd boy. Okay, number 4. My heart always just gets filled with so much love at the kindness that I see in everyone, the service and the love that everyone gives. Hey, how would you spell that kind of heart? Again, there's 2 letters that are have squares around them. If you think it's this kind of heart, please write down the letter E. If you think it's that kind of heart, write down A for number 4. Of course, there's also lots of shopping as well as service done this time of year, and people are always just going to the mall. They've got to get gifts for everyone on their list. Maybe they go to the mall to see Santa. So students, how do you spell that kind of mall? Here's some other choices for you. If you think it's this way, put down an M. If you think it's this way, put down an A. number 6 and to number 7, because you're going to need this letter, write down this letter twice. Okay. I especially like thinking about Christmases in the past. I've had so many wonderful Christmases. In fact, one of my favorite Christmases was when I got engaged to my husband. He gave me an engagement ring for Christmas. So I love thinking about Christmases in the past. So how do you spell, let's see, that kind of past? And if you think it's this, put down 2 P's for 6, a P for 6 and a P for 7. If you think it's like this, put down an S for 6 and an S for 7. Okay, just 2 more. Review. Okay. It is, let's see, I can't think of a Christmas sentence that goes along with these 2 words. I hope you don't get a leech for Christmas. That would mean you were very bad. Santa's not giving coal anymore. He's giving leeches, you know, those blood-sucking critters. Yeah, we wouldn't want that at all. Hey, how do you spell leech? If it looks like that, put down an H. And if it looks like that, put down an L. Okay. And our final one. Of course, you know, the best part of Christmas, well, not the best part of Christmas, but one of the best parts of Christmas are all the great desserts. There's like gingerbread cookies, and there's Christmas, like Yule logs, kind of like cakes that are all decorated like logs. They're really, really good. I don't have Christmas pudding, but, you know, people do love that. So how do you spell dessert? If it looks like that, put down an E for number 9. And if it looks like that, put down a T. Okay, students, now I have a joke to tell you. And if you did this right, the answer is spelled out for you. Okay? What happens when you cross an iPad with a Christmas tree? What do you get when you cross an iPad with a Christmas tree? Hopefully, students, you have spelled out the answer to that using all these letters. Okay? Here, 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 twice, there, and there. Okay? Here's a little clue. Isn't that awesome, right? A Christmas tree with an iPad. Yeah, I thought that was an awesome joke. You maybe didn't like it as well. But how did you do on your spelling words? I hope you did great. Okay, we're going to move on now to our action items. We're going to be learning about comma usage today. And I have in action item number 1, gives you this this list of rules or a guide for identifying when commas are needed. And I thought this was pretty cool. So the first thing, so it spells out the word comma, so that kind of goes along with our joke that we just had too. So the first time you're going to use commas is in a compound sentence. And I've written an example here. James got a DS, and he got a hoverboard. Big Christmas for James. Okay, so these 2 sentences could stand on their own. James got a DS, James got a hoverboard. But because we put them together, we use a comma and connect them with an and. Okay, so C for comma stands for compound sentences. That'll be easy to remember. O is for opening phrases and holidays. Oh, clauses. Opening, okay? So the opening part of the sentence, something that's a clause, it couldn't stand on its own. It's dependent. During the holidays, comma, we ate a lot. Okay, so during the holidays is just an opening dependent clause. And so that's another good time to use a comma. It's right there for opening phrases and clauses. And we use the O to remember that. There's 2 M's. And the first one is making non-essential clauses. And these are usually found in the middle of a sentence. Rudolph, a reindeer, we put 2 commas around that, was late. Hey, you could just say Rudolph was late. Everybody knows he's a reindeer. It's kind of a non-essential clause, but you need to, if you have something like that set apart, then you need to put commas around it. Okay, Rudolph, a reindeer, was late. Another time that you're going to use commas is for miscellaneous uses, and that's the other M for comma. You're going to use it for dates like December 24th, 2015. Place names. This says North Pole, comma, Earth. You know, you got to address your letters somewhere. North Pole, comma, Earth. And after yes or no. Like, yes, I do believe in Santa. I didn't have room for that. So the comma would go after the yes or after the no. So just some miscellaneous times that you need a comma, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Okay. One of the most easy to identify is the A, adjectives that coordinate. Santa is a kind, comma, jolly, comma, old elf. So if you've got a series of adjectives in a row describing a person or a thing, a noun, you can put commas between each of them. And then finally, we're spelling out commas, you would put commas in a series of things. Put the holly, mistletoe, and elf on the shelf. Okay. So if I'm doing a list of things like in a series, I want you to put 3 things on my shelf: holly, comma, mistletoe, comma, and elf. Okay, all of those need to go on my shelf. Hey, I want to read you a Christmas story now, and we're going to try to look for each of these kinds of comma uses, and we'll see if we can find them in this book. So let's take a look. Make sure I'm still married. Get ready. Keep your piece of paper in front of you. I'm going to have you try to write down if you think it was a C, an O, an M, an A, or an S. What type of comma rule they're following here and using each of the commas in this book. This is one of my favorite Christmas stories. Maybe you're familiar with it. It's called Mistletoe. Mistletoe by Marjorie Palatini and illustrated by Henry Cole. 'Twas the season, and Moose was merry. He joyfully tickled the ivories with a tuneful of tidings and a flurry of fa-la-las. He was so full of ho-ho-hos, even his moustache had the holiday spirit. All right, so those are... You can see the commas in that section. 'Twas the season, and Moose was merry. 'Twas stands for it was, right? It was the season, and Moose was merry. So what example, which comma rule do you think applies in this situation? I don't know if you can see me very good. Let me make me bigger and the book smaller. Okay. It was the season, and Moose was merry. Write down which letter you think goes along with that use of a comma. I'll give you a clue. Yeah, it was the C, the compound sentences, because you could say it was the season. Okay, and that would stand by itself. You could also say Moose was merry. Okay, that would stand by itself, but instead we've got a comma and an and in between them. All right, we got our C. Let's see if we can find the other ones. I'll go back to make me small. Okay. But Moose was more than just a bit merry and bright. He was busy, busy, busy. There was a lot to be done on his list of to-dos. But with orderly organization, a bit of regimentation, lots of imagination, and just plain old Moose know-how, getting ready for the big day should have been simple, easy, Yes, in all probability, just perfectly perfect. Okay, there are 2 uses of commas in this section. I want you to take a look at this first part. He was busy, busy, busy. Okay, the second sentence, 3 commas there. Then go down to the very last sentence. Yes, in all probability, just perfectly perfect. Okay, now I'm going to show you our comma rules. Which ones did those go along with? Okay. Well, we've got obviously our miscellaneous use, right? After yes or no. Yes. It should be perfectly perfect. So we've answered this one. So we've got this one and this one so far. I should check those off so we can make sure we get them all. Check, check, check. Just like Moose is doing. Check, check, check. He's going to start checking. All right, how about the busy, busy, busy? We might think, oh, maybe that's adjectives in a row. But busy isn't an adjective in this situation. Okay, busy, busy, busy. Well, I guess it is. Moose was busy, busy moose. Busy, busy, busy moose. Yeah, I was going to say that was a verb, but I think it is an adjective that coordinates. So even though it's the same adjective over and over, it is adjectives in a list, in a row. So let's use that one. Check it out. Okay. Good job, guys. We're flipping through all of these. Let's go back. Keep reading. Okay. He wasted not one merry minute. Moose got moving and put some hustle into his holiday bustle. He went to work, he wrote cards and letters till his hooves hurt. Check. He shopped till he dropped. Check. He hauled home boxes and bags and presents galore. Moose had gifts for everyone stacked from ceiling to floor. Check, check, check. Then he rapped, yo, 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 and he ribboned, ho, ho, ho. And on each and every package, he tied a big, beautiful bow. Check and double check. So far, so simple, so easy, so perfectly perfect. Okay. There we've got that big, beautiful bow. Those are some adjectives, so I'm not going to make our rules big, right? Big and beautiful are tied into the bows. 2 adjectives to describe the bows. We already checked off our adjectives, so we'll keep on going. Another look at the list, and Moose headed for the kitchens. He pulled out the pots, pans, and bowls, sifted through stacks and racks of cookbooks. He whisked with his left, and he spooned with his right. Hey, we've got pots, comma, pans, comma, and bowls, comma. Let's take a look and see what rule that would fit with. Is it an opening phrase or clause? No. Is it a non-essential clause? No. Is it a series? Pots, pans, and bowls. Put the holly, mistletoe, and elf. Yeah, it's a series of things, right? Awesome. We got another check. We're just looking for 2 more examples. Let's see if we can find those. Moose baked tons of tins of cookies. Check. Dozens of cake spreads and sweets. There's some more commas in a series, right? Check, check, check. He made jellies, sticky jams. Moose roasted a goose and some chestnuts. He toasted marshmallows and yams. Check, check, check. Triple check. Yes, yes, so simple, so easy. And, but of course, so perfectly perfect. Hey, take a look at that. But, and, comma, but of course, comma, so perfectly perfect. Okay, let's see which rule could apply. Is that an opening phrase or clause? No, that wasn't. Is it a non-essential clause in the middle? Could we just say, and so perfectly perfect? We could. Okay, so I think it's this one. Okay, a non-essential clause kind of stuck in the middle there. We've got a comma at the beginning and a comma at the end to kind of separate it. Show you, yeah, this isn't necessary, but I'm just throwing it in there for fun. Okay. Yeah, writers have fun. Trust me, they do. I promise. You may not think so, but they really do. Especially when they're writing a fun story like this. Okay, we just need one more example. And this one is opening phrases or clauses. Okay, we got to get it, Mistletoe. Come on. Decorations were up next on his list of things to do and get done. So Moose decked the halls, then spruced up the walls. He beaded, bowed, and mousseltoed. He gathered garlands, roped wreaths and holly, jingled bells, sang Noels. Oh, good golly, this Moose was jolly. Check, 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 check. Hey, notice, sang Noels. Oh, good golly, this Moose was jolly. Hey, again, that's just a little non-essential clause. Just good golly, just thrown in there, a little expression, and it's covered by commas. So we've already talked about that one. Good work. Last but not least, he hung all his stockings, each and every one, with special care, and just in time, too. Soon Santa would be there. Hey, last but not least, he hung all his stockings, each and every one with special care. Hey, we have got kind of some maybe non-essential clauses there. Last, he hung all the stockings. We don't need but not least, right? He hung all the stockings. Last, he hung all the stockings, each and every one with special care. Okay, and just in time, too. Soon Santa would be there. It's kind of an opening clause a little bit too, so I'm wanting to mark that as last he hung all the stockings, comma, that's an opening clause maybe. Begins the sentence with a comma. Kind of complicated, but I think we have identified all of the types of commas in this book. Let's keep going and see if there's any more. Check and final check. Yes, sirree. Getting ready for Christmas was an absolute snap, and so simple, so easy, and if he did say so himself, Moose thought totally, utterly, completely, perfectly perfect. Awesome. We've got an example of an opening clause, and if he did say so himself, that's our opening clause, so if we didn't count it last time, we can count it this time. And then we've got some adjectives all in a row, right? Totally, utterly, completely, perfectly perfect. Awesome. On that night before Christmas, Mother, little Sissy, Bucky, and Junior looked all through the house. There we've got our opening clause. There we've got our things in a series. We are getting so good at identifying all these. What a job Moose had done. Everything looked bountiful, festive, quite fine indeed. There was just one minor problem, if you will. Oh dear, sighed the missus as the five stared at one corner. Oh my, oh gee. Oh me, oh gee, Pop, what happened? Cried Junior. You forgot the tree. Dear. Oh, I gotta read. I didn't take pictures of that page because it didn't have any commas. Hang on, wait for me. Oops, where would they hang the tinsel? Where would they string the popcorn and light the lights? Where would Santa leave his gifts for the kiddies on Christmas Eve night? So Moose pulled on his galoshes and put on his hat. He would find a tree somewhere, somehow, and that's all there was to that. So out went the Moose, braving blustery blowing winds and the cold, trudging through snowdrifts, courageous and bold. Moose first hoofed it down to the corner. Not a tree to be had. Uh-oh, then he slid around the block. Things were looking bad. He went down every boulevard, street, and little road. He looked down lanes and alleys. Every tree had been sold. There wasn't a branch, not a twig, not even one lousy, bolus bough hanging around. Nope, nada, nothing. Not a tree to be found. No tree, sighed a sad Moose as he came home empty-handed that snowy eve. The kids tried to make the best of it. They said, "Oh, so who needs a tree?" But Moose could plainly see they were short on the glee. He knew he had to do something, and that's just what he did. In an empty corner he stood and spread his arms out very wide. Then he smiled at his children and he winked at his bride. "Kids," he declared, "fetch your forgetful pop some of that tried and true family glop." So back came the kids carrying a big pot of glue, and without a word to one another, they knew just what to do. They each took a part, grabbing strands, taking hold, and carefully, oh so carefully, they plopped. They glopped and they plopped, they pasted and they pressed. They curled and twirled every which way a follicle could fathom, until Moose's magnificent moustache was indeed more of a marvel to see. Moose was just a few needles shy of being an evergreen tree. They strung Moose with lights from his head to his toes and draped him with tinsel beginning right with his nose. They hung balls that were shiny and bells that twinkled, candy canes, berries, and plum sugar sprinkled. Then they all stood back. Junior plugged in his pop. Ooh, ah, yes, Moose truly was one incredible sight. He was glorious and glowing, and boy, oh boy, was he ever bright. Then Junior placed the star on top of Moose's head. He gave him a kiss and a pat, and they all headed off to bed. Except Moose, of course. He stayed in the corner instead, still twinkling and blinking and waiting for Santa. Oh, so it wasn't so simple, and it wasn't so easy, and okay. It wasn't so perfectly perfect. But do you know what? It was pretty close. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, students, you can see as we talk about this fun picture book, how important comics are. That they help an author tell his story, they help you to read it effectively and clearly, and we identified each of these ways that comics can be used. You can write your own sentences using each of these patterns for an action item for this week. And you may want to tie them into Christmas, just like I did, or write however you want. And we will catch you next in tomorrow's video. Thank you, students.